Okay, here we go. This is kind of, what I do on the side. I help, you know, as a business deal right here. There's a person that lives in my building. They came to me saying that they had to call, they had to call Microsoft because they got a pop up from some website that they went to, and it told them to call them. So they called them and they said, "Oh, we need to remote in your computer." So they remoted into his computer, and then I guess he figured out that it was a scam because I'm not for sure what exactly happened. But so he ended up calling Mediacom. I guess Mediacom told him something. I don't know what the deal was, but he called Mediacom and all had his Wi-Fi password because I'm guessing he realized he was hacked or might have been hacked. So he called Mediacom. That's our cable and internet provider here. So he called them and they told him that he needed to go through and reset every single password he had for everything. So he had him reset his password for his Wi-Fi too. So I was like, okay, I don't think it's an inside job. I don't think these hackers are going to run all the way here to sign in your Wi-Fi. But maybe they had some other method behind it. But the system has Intel Celeron N3150, has 4 gigs of RAM. That is a 4-core CPU, so it has 4 gigs of RAM. It has 2 banks for RAMs, but it's only filling up one. It has a 500 gig hard drives running, Intel HD graphics, not 630, nothing, just Intel HD graphics, non-touchscreen. Has Wi-Fi in it. I don't know about Bluetooth, but has a camera, microphone, all this on here. You can see here's a model. Just go and see the info. MS already come up. Okay, just close this. So you can see here's a model of it. I think it's perfectly fine for what he does. He probably does basic stuff on it. Might watch YouTube videos or something on it. I don't know nothing about the system. I didn't log in the system to try to spy and see what he was doing, if he had any viruses. I just completely wiped the drive completely. Wrote over the drive like I was going to sell it, all these ones and zeros over it using software. So I did that about 2 runs, and then I reinstalled Windows 10. It has Windows 10 Home, I believe. Yeah, Windows 10 Home. So, and you can see here again, here's the N3150 4-core CPU, 4 gigs of RAM. That's a model number. But he is like, is it worth, doing? And he's like, how much will you charge to reset this to do a fresh install of the operating system? Is like $25. That's it. He's like, okay, cool, fine. He's got the keyboard, probably the original keyboard, and then he has a wireless mouse. Obviously, you can tell he uses it a lot. I actually haven't seen one of these with that much paint off of it. So he does use it a lot, but it's a halfway decent system. I think he doesn't need to replace it right now. I'd recommend going with, adding a 4 gig stick of RAM and like an SSD. But the time you add RAM to it and an SSD, you could probably just spend, $150 and get another all-in-one that's a little bit faster than this. But he's still good for another, about 2 years when Windows 10, doesn't have support anymore. And if they stop letting people do the workarounds to get to Windows 11, I don't recommend this system on Windows 11. But he could do that or just replace it in 10 years so he knows he has a supported system. But yeah, it does have Windows 10, and I don't know if it natively come with Windows 10. Like I said, I've deleted everything. The recovery partitions that Asus puts on these systems, I deleted completely everything because the dude remoted into his computer, so I had no idea what else he could have done to this system. So I was like, heck with it. He wanted a fresh install. So I gave him a fresh install. If you say I want my computer reset, I'll reset it. If you just want a fresh install, which he said, I'll do a fresh install. And this is the latest, well, I believe the latest versions that you can download might have a newer version than what I put on here, and then I did the updates on it. So here's, here's that model again. Can you see that? Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine for him. Seems like a decent system. I could use this. It has built-in speakers on it. If you're just gonna go on YouTube, Facebook, you need a separate computer that you don't keep any data on. You can go to sites, do downloads, stuff like that. I'm assuming he probably went to a site and tried to download a movie or something like that, and then they give you that little pop-up. You see it on your screen. You got a virus. Call this number. Yeah, my hand's talking. Call this number. We're Microsoft. I looked at the number and I knew instantly it wasn't Microsoft. And the employee ID, so he gave you an ID and an extension and all this stuff. That's not a Microsoft number there. I definitely know that is not a Microsoft number. I told him that. He's like, so you think I got scammed? I was like, yeah. He remoted in your computer. He probably went on to Chrome and all this stuff and, got whatever he needed. I didn't tell him exactly, but yeah, he's got to go through and reset everything. Hopefully he didn't have any bank information anywhere on this computer, because now he's got to go to the bank and fix all that too, just because he listened to that little pop-up. But yeah, seems like a decent system. Leave in a comment, what do you think? Should this dude replace this system, or should he just keep it? Or yeah, and cost wise, if he, like I said, I never gone in his operating system, so I don't know how much stuff he had on it. But he could go with like a cheap 250 gig. It's washing out, right? He could go with like a 250 gig SSD and another 4 gig stick of RAM. I think I have a 2 gig. I don't believe I have a 4 gig stick, but then he would have 6 gigs of RAM. And he'd be in dual channel. He probably won't ever use more than 4 gigs of RAM for basic use. Leave that in the comment. Yeah, should I, should I dig in my parts thing and see if I still have a 2 gig or a 4 gig, and should I just do that for him for free? Like, if he wants to. I'm not going to tear his machine open. If he wants to upgrade it to faster RAM, to do so, and then he can buy his own SSD, and I'll install it into it. I just clone this. Well, I won't clone this drive. I do a fresh install again of the SSD and just redo it. Leave that in a comment. What do you think? What should he just leave it like this? I think it's perfectly fine for basic stuff that he might want to do. Yeah, should he upgrade it to an SSD and add another 4 gig stick of RAM so he can have 8 gigs of RAM and a faster drive? That would help this system run a lot smoother. To him, it would be like a brand new system again. Right now, it's going to be running faster than it was before because it doesn't have any of the, any of their bloatware on it running in the background. But yeah, leave that in the comments. I'm going to cut this video short, and thank you for watching.